The moon and its phases. The moon, the Earth's neighbor. If you're outside on a clear night, it is quite hard to miss, but you could have noticed that the moon doesn't always look the same in the sky. It seems to change shape and sometimes it isn't even there. But why? Well, the first thing you need to know is that the moon doesn't give off any light. It only looks bright because it is illuminated by the sun, and that light reflects toward us on Earth. The next thing to know is that the moon looks like it's changing shapes to us on Earth, but in reality, one half of the moon is always illuminated by the sun, while the other one is always dark. In fact, this is for any of the planets. For example, Earth always has one illuminated side and one unilluminated side, which is the reason why we have night and day. The moon takes 29.5 days to orbit the Earth, about a month. This is actually where the term month comes from. There is also a line called the terminator which separates the light and the dark side of the moon. First of all, what you see here are the rays of sunlight hitting the Earth. As you can see, the side facing toward the Earth is illuminated, while the other side is dark. This is why we have night and day, and so, because of the Earth spinning on its axis, no matter where you are in the world, you will definitely experience a night or a day. If you live in the Arctic, it's a little different, but away from that topic. First, it's the new moon. This is when the sun, moon, and the earth are more or less in a line. It's when the moon is closest to the sun. You may have thought the moon only comes out at night, but actually that's incorrect and is a popular misconception. The new moon actually rises and sets at sunset, which means the new moon is always out during the day. The only reason we can't see it is because it is next to the brightest object in the sky, the sun. The next phase is the waxing crescent. It is called this because waxing means to enlarge and the shape looks like a crescent. This is the phase of the moon that is easiest to spot during the day. The next phase is the first quarter, which is when half the moon is lit. It is called the first quarter because the moon is a quarter of a way through its cycle. The next phase is the waxing gibbous, where gibbous means convex or swollen. Now, which is halfway through the month, we can see the full moon, which is when the Earth is between the sun and the moon. What comes next is basically everything that just happened in reverse. Next is waning gibbous, which is when most of the moon is illuminated and a bit is in darkness. Next is the third quarter and is called this because the moon is 3/4 through its cycle. The moon rises at midnight and sets at noon. Then we have the waning crescent. This is when most of the moon is unilluminated and only a crescent is illuminated. Finally, we once again have the new moon. Now that you know why we see different phases of the moon from Earth, let's take a short trip to the moon. Pretend you're on the moon looking toward the Earth. What do you see? Well, you would see phases, just like we would see phases on the moon from Earth, only in reverse. So, when we see the new moon from Earth, if you were on the moon, Earth would be completely visible. It's full Earth. It's also the same vice versa. When we see the full moon from Earth, if you were on the moon, you would see new Earth, which is when the Earth is not visible to those on the moon. This is called Earthshine. Thank you for watching.